every single time we talk about it, I want some Kentucky medical
some
weed.
medical,
Bruh.
like some proper, like some organic outdoor from Kentucky.
Yes, and like
that sounds delicious.
I want it now. Please, if you're in Kentucky and you're listening, yes, congratulations for you, and also save us some weed. It's a Idobi Radio. That's TS.
And that's Sasha.
And we are live on Idobi Radio on Monday, just like we always are. We never skip a Monday, and that's just true because we love you and we love this. We love what we do. We love Idobi so much. It's our first time on the air since our really, by all accounts, very successful election broadcast.
Yeah.
Panic for the POTUS was a great time in this room.
We had a great time.
The overall night will be discussed at length tonight. but we, with Eddie, and it's news to us, and Mood Killers, and Fish, and even like Peyton stopped by, and then Tate and Paige joined us through video, and at the very end we saw Patrick, our ally to the north, and it was a night of community, and I really honestly haven't been able to tap back into that until basically now. We're back in the studio live. This is our last time that I'll be in the studio for a little bit because I'm going home for the holidays and whatnot. So we knew it was very important for us to come back to the sacred circle.
The circle of trust.
Yeah.
And understanding. And acceptance.
Yeah. And yes, acceptance is really key, especially with Idobi. It is safe to be you here. In fact, they love it. And that's why we've been here for so long. And Idobi is just, it's like, and every, like, to you who joined us on that night, like, thank you for hanging out with us all night. There was a lot of you who came and joined us, and that was really great. That was really great. I'm just making sure everything is working.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. Very, Fish, who knew that Fish, Gone Fishkin, could whip up the craftiest of crafty cocktails.
They were crafty. I mean, he brought out the smoker. Like, he did not.
I forgot he brought out the smoker.
I was like, is there fire in here?
There were several kinds of bitters involved.
It was truly beautiful. It was a great, like, it was how adults sit and call an election. CNN's ratings dropped. I bet they all came to us.
They wanted to hop on the party bus.
We were dressed as Steve Kornacki. We went in full commitment to the Kornacki khakis. And we also had an outfit reveal at the very end. TS and I were wearing our American weed shirts because by all accounts, it was like a relatively successful weed night. And we'll break down in a second what happened. A lot of news has been happening this week, so maybe you didn't see what happened to the United States of cannabis. So we can do that. Wait, let me just play good things that make us happy.
We salute you, the United States of cannabis, under all 50 strains, one pre-roll, under bong.
Yeah.
Cool Nerd Weed Show on Idobi Radio.
Yeah. So we were trying to, we weren't as you know, as you lived through election night. By the way, this is November 11th, 2024. We are live on Idobi Radio. Just want to let you know that I want to date stamp this just in case anything happens the next time we're live a week from now. Who the fuck knows what's going on? But we went through the night we got toasty.
Yeah, we sure did. You have to.
Yeah, we had Fish's drinks, and then we rolled so many joints.
There was 10 to 12. Probably rolled a good half ounce of cannabis.
What was it that we smoked?
Oh, that was a variety of.
Oh, it was a blend. I kept literally. I asked you that 20 times, and you kept saying the same thing.
I mixed all of the candy and gas together.
Yeah, you did. It was a good blend.
It was like a 3 to 5 cheese blend.
You did. I felt bad because Eddie didn't leave the captain's chair.
No, he was at the helm all night.
Yeah, big boss energy. But we gave him like 3 joints to leave with. We were like, we did our best, and we did. I love that night. It's so weird to think about it because like even the next day, like I was trying to relive it, and I was like, no. Like first of all, I was fucking exhausted. I felt like I worked out or ran a marathon the night before, not from the show, just from the stress, and like I was like, no, we did some really fun stuff together. Like, I guess maybe that is what people feel like CNN or whatever news broadcast you're watching, even if it's at the local level. Like it's a really, you feel like you're part of history. It's an exciting night, you know, to be a part of until it's not.
Yeah. It's like, it was fun. And then you wake up the next morning and you're in a bathtub full of ice and you're missing a kidney and there's lipstick written on the wall.
Yeah.
And it said Trump wins.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, if you're listening to the show, we're a Politic Lean. We are disappointed. I cannot say that I am 100% surprised. I don't like how I let a little bit of glimmer of hope peek through. I think that's on me. I need to do some introspective thinking.
We did. We felt hopeful.
We did.
Up until January, up until November 4th.
Yeah. There was a couple moments right before where I was like, my like spidey sense was tingling, and I was like, it just the things that and what we're not going to do tonight, we are going to talk about our feelings because that's what we do here, but we're also going to give you like things like results and things that happen and things that you can think about that might happen in the future, and then we'll do our usual fun time ending. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to like blame things and people. What we can like, but I do want to tell you that like I've seen a lot of like, you know, social media posts of people being like, well, we need to not be angry and we need to not, you know, do this and do that. We need to do that. And I'm like, no.
Now?
No, I'm pretty mad.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be mad at a group, and I don't want to be mad at, like, I don't want to like point at something or someone or a group of people and say, well, that was what did it. Oh, no. That's what did it. I also like, and I like love a conspiracy. I can't even go down that route right now. If you are doing that, bless you. But not for me right now. I need to stay in the space because I need to do something with my feelings. You know, I need to like for weed, for example, like when weed doesn't pass and it should, which we'll talk about why some things didn't pass and some things did, or the stigma of weed to begin with, or why it's federally legal at all. Who am I mad at? Like, am I mad? Like, what group am I mad at? And really what I'm mad at is the umbrella reason, which for weed in particular is a racist war on drugs that started just a century ago, really, and got so bad so quick that we are now drowning in it. And it's umbrellaed out to many, many other aspects of our life. That's what I'm mad at. So I can take my anger and maybe put it towards the idea that is being held up in this country for the next while. And that's the ideas that are being presented before me are making me mad. So I can be mad at that, I think. I think I can be mad at that. I don't want to feel bad about it.
It's a history of, you know, systematic racism and scapegoating.
Yeah.
And for this show, it is cannabis is scapegoating.
Right.
So,
but you can point to almost anything in this country and
That's the root.
That's what it is.
The root cause.
So while the weed industry is, just to bring it back to us, like while the weed industry maybe is making some steps forward, maybe not, maybe like lateral or whatever, it's important to remember why we're here in the first. Why don't, like on Tuesday, Eddie asked us, why don't conservatives tend to like weed? And like the first thing the big thing in lights that pops into my head is racisms, but it's also monies too. So it's how can we disenfranchise a group of people as quickly as possible? Is it going to be jail? Is it going to be fucking putting drugs on the streets? Is it going to be big fucking pharma? Is it going to be whatever hook, bait and switch thing that the person in charge does to black people, indigenous people, people of color? Like that is the reason why weed is not legal here. So while it seems like there are strides and steps and stuff at this moment, I would like us to remember what is going on and what has been going on, and what maybe there was that glimmer of we're moving slowly and not quick enough for generations of discrimination and racisms, but we're maybe moving a little bit. That was, I would just like us to remember the undercurrent of what we're mad at. That's all. That's all I have to say about the anger that I feel. I do feel angry, but we can.
I feel like I've been angry for so long.
Yeah.
Just so long.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, me too. I would have just like not to like.
I don't want to be angry with like my family.
No, I know, and that's really what's hard about
this. Some of my friends.
That's what's really hard about this. It's really hard to. It's really hard to separate.
It just says to me that you support racism
and transphobia and all of the things and
all of the phobias. They're just playing with all the phobias.
Yeah. And that just, I know. And that's why I'm trying. And I think it's okay if you have a family member that you are having trouble being around. I think it's okay to do what's healthy for you, and like, but I also don't want our anger to ruin moments that we could have had because we're angry at the person who was like, well, it's the economy, like the person who's like, a tariff.
Yeah,
I know, like, yeah, I'm mad that you don't care about my body. I'm mad that you don't care about anybody's body. I'm mad, but like, what's under there? Why? What?
What's the real reason?
It's important. It's important to think about. And that relates to weed. And that's why when you do weeds, when you're in cannabis, usually you're kind of an activist in a lot of ways. And probably also voted for Trump. There's a lot of people in that community who sure like this administration. That's your bad,
it's true.
Man.
It's true.
Listen, yeah, I know these people. And it's.
I don't know why I was sort of shocked.
I am not shocked.
That more, and I guess I kind of saw it in 2016.
And it just grew over the pandemic. It grew and it festered, and I think there's a pipeline of health, and we'll talk about RFK tonight eventually. There's this pipeline of like health and wellness that goes to the alt-right. So there's anthropological and sociological reasons for people in weed to lean right. And it did shock me a little bit when I moved out here because I didn't think that until I saw it a ton and was like, well,
maybe rethinking it, it's always been like a little outlaw.
Right.
And
right.
You know, freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's these things that like you want to be like, well, in America we can have all of it, and like we clearly can't. But you want to be like, oh, well, you believe in, you know, this freedom of whatever, access to weed. Then you should also believe in a right to choose. No, and often they don't. And you know, it also could be a religious aspect too. Like whatever. I just know we are probably not social media friends anymore. And that, again, is on me. Maybe I'm being too selfish right now. But I got to say, you didn't think about anybody else but you when you voted. You sure as fuck didn't think about families being ripped apart, about lives being lost, about anything. You didn't care about any of those things. So we get to have this period of trying to find where to place our anger, you know. And I didn't unfollow these people like out of anger from my personal account. Colton Regional still probably follows everybody, but because, you know, social media is social media. That's the thing. I can choose what I want to see, and ain't no thing. Like it's okay. I don't want to like spike up, you know, like, but I also want to be realistic about how we feel. And right now, no, we can't have a discussion on whether or not trans people are people. We can't have that. We cannot have that discussion right now because that is batshit. That's one of the things that they want on. So that for me, I'm choosing no. I'm choosing to, you know.
There was a lot of anti-trans propaganda on. I was getting like a Florida feed.
Yeah.
And
it was everywhere.
It was it was horrible.
Yeah. So that is what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of people in our community that are that voted for Donald Trump and maybe you're listening and we know you and we wish it didn't feel this way. I wish it didn't feel this way. I don't want to speak for you. I'm speaking for you.
No, I feel horrible. Even more, it's worse than the first time Donald Trump was elected because we didn't know back then what we were really getting into.
Yeah.
And then, 4 years of under Donald Trump's reign were, awful. So why are we doing this? Why are we doing this again when we really know the agenda?
Yeah. We know why. So that's what I think like has to be worked on. But in terms of weed, we said it during the election, like we were like, actually it's kind of going well for us in a few ways. We're not rooting for Florida's amendment because it was butts. And also Donald Trump supported it. So that's how you know for sure it was butt cracks. Ron DeSantis took out like a fucking like bajillions of dollars in ads being like in the guise of activism too, which I was just like, ooh.
That's even more. Even more appalling from Ron DeSantis.
That's like next level.
Yeah.
Because you sent me an ad that was just like, you can't grow your own and it won't be regulated and there won't, like, it was literally everything that we've said we hate it. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm surprised they're running that. And then we started reading about Ron DeSantis' smear campaign against this amendment. And I was like, that was an ad that was paid for by fucking Ron DeSantis. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't for any reason that's noble or good or right for the cause, but Ron DeSantis was successful in his campaigning, and you listen to us, and we know what's right and what's wrong when it comes to this legislation and what we've seen. And this was an assy bill.
Yeah.
So
Florida Amendment 3 was a bunch of garbage.
And it actually did pass, but not by the 60%.
It did have like 55.
Yeah, it won or whatever. Yeah.
It did have a majority, but not a super majority in Florida.
Super majority is what you need. Yeah.
And it didn't include any sort of criminal reform, no social equity program.
No, none of it.
No home grow. Basically setting up a monopoly in Florida for cannabis.
Yes, and no protection for anybody, not for the consumer. So if you smoke bad weed or expired weed or whatever it is that you consume, sorry, bud, but like you're on your own. Company is not responsible, and if you're a worker, you have no protections. And there actually have been deaths and well, maybe one, and accidents. I mean, it's OSHA. It's a workplace. It's exactly. You're not just like strolling around on a little farm. It's working with machines, and if you don't have protection, that's such an insane thing to me. But they were like, "Oh, let's just get it done," and then one stupid ass, broke ass fucking company, Trulieve, which if you're in Florida, know is just
the worst.
It's just so bad. So fuck that bill. Fuck that amendment. I'm glad it didn't go through with any of this.
Yeah, they're already talking about getting the next one going,
which is great. And all of these,
that's what we wanted. It wasn't right. So
no, it wasn't right. So we felt successful in that way.
Yeah, exactly. The powers that be are going on to the next thing. They're going to fix it.
Yeah,
and hopefully it will get that super majority, and cannabis will be legal in Florida,
which would be nice.
All of those multi-state operator stocks dropped like 40%, some up to 50%.
Oh, really?
Like the very next day.
They all
tanked.
Good.
Yeah, it was very satisfying.
Oh, so good. I mean, I feel like a lot of people.
I mean, sorry if you had your money wrapped.
Well, yeah. But, that's sorry, it is. And please don't invest in multi-state operating cannabis companies. I know you've been sold, the dream, but it ain't the way. Do it the good and humble way, like start out like you'd start out with any business. So I'm trying to get rich quick with weed. That's not how this operates here. I know it kind of does, but not completely. It's like the one thing that's not completely fucked by big corporations. It's close. We're getting there. We're not quite there.
Yeah, well, once Donald Trump puts federally declassifies, then all of the big money, like the real money, there's like huge money in cannabis now, like the True Leaves and the Curas and the all of those. But then once the real money comes in from the big time, the hedge funders and
damn it,
the Warren Buffetts,
because they'll probably
the Amazons.
Okay, we'll get to Trump. Oh man, sorry. We'll get keep that in there because I have so many things I want to say, but I'm trying to keep this show.
Okay.
Okay.
Steer this spaceship.
The next one is Kentucky.
Kentucky, we didn't even really cover this that much, but Kentucky voters moved to implement a medical cannabis access.
Yes, so it was floated around, but they realized it probably wasn't as easy as it should be, and a lot of counties voted that you can now get your weed medically in Kentucky. And we talked about this a while ago when it was first. We were excited.
The bluegrass state.
We wanted the bluegrass.
And it's part of the other. It's like considered like the other Emerald Triangle.
That's what we always say
in America. Yeah,
I love. And every single time we talk about it, I want some Kentucky medical weed, bruv.
Like some proper, like some organic outdoor from Kentucky.
Yes, and
that sounds delicious.
I want it now. Please, if you're in Kentucky and you're listening, yes, congratulations for you. And also, save us some weed. We're going to do a weed tour one day. One day we will. We will tour the states and smoke your weed and break your bread.
I love it.
We will. Because one thing I again, I always say, like, this is something, weed is always something that both sides agree on, always. Except for when it's, like, stupid, like Florida. But, like, everybody agrees they want weed. Everybody.
Yeah, it's a bipartisan issue.
Yeah. So, Massachusetts. It's like, what?
Even conservatives buy shoes. Michael Jordan. Massachusetts. Psychedelic legalization has failed.
Yeah. I didn't think that was
I didn't think it was going to go through.
It was close, though.
It was. It wasn't that far off. It was pretty loose.
It was.
I
don't think anybody really knows how to write these psychedelic,
like a psychedelic
things
bill
just yet. But
they're like, have everything and the roots and grow it all. And I mean, that's kind of cool too. But
yeah, maybe.
They weren't
but
ready
the
in
fact that they're even
Massachusetts.
talking about it is, I keep saying that's a big plus.
Every time.
It's great. Keep talking about it. Nebraska, this is great. Right?
Yes.
Great.
This is great, and it's interesting too because there's two different bills that passed, both regarding medical cannabis. One passes cannabis for medical purposes. The other one actually is a legalization of cannabis, like
recreational.
No, it puts in place the regulations. So the First Amendment was to legalize medical cannabis. The Second Amendment was to.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Was to.
Okay, so they can be. Okay, I got you. Well, that makes sense because you need like infrastructure. Nebraska, this is new, so like.
Yeah. So it was two different bills.
You get that shit on there, and then they needed another bill to actually implement and regulate.
Yes.
So coagulate and all get
all
it all out there.
So, I thought it was interesting. They both passed, which is great news. Mm-hmm. But the regulation one didn't. I mean, it almost didn't pass. There was like 3%.
Oh, you said that, yeah.
There was like a margin.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think some people were kind of confused by it, but you needed to have the one. Both needed to pass. Right. And the other sort of interesting part to this is it needs to be approved by a judge. Needs to certify.
Just a judge.
It's just a judge,
like your local,
like Judge Judy.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, Judge Judy, go get on that shit. Be like, I rule
in favor of medical cannabis. Nebraska, click that gavel.
Yeah, smash that gavel. Good for you. I do hope you get there, Nebraska. I'm glad that at least you can talk to your medical provider about it. North Dakota cannabis
failed.
Didn't we not like that?
Yeah, it was. It was all this. It was the same sort of thing.
Old jazz.
No social equity, no criminal reform.
Same jazz.
I think one of the Dakotas allowed home grow.
Not North.
But I think it was the other Dakota.
Probably South.
South Dakota.
Probably West. West Dakota. Oh God. I just got like apocalyptic in my head.
The last free state. Yeah. West Dakota.
Oh God. Grow our weed.
We print our own money.
Oh, we're not far from that. Oregon unions.
Unions, yes.
We love a union. Go. We love a union.
You need protections in the workplace, and
this is historical.
This is
it's difficult to get unions organized. This has been a long time in the making, though. For cannabis workers. So it's difficult to get a union started in the cannabis community in most states, but not Oregon anymore.
They have
1, 2, 3s.
Yeah, they have the labor agreement. Let's do this.
Fuck yeah. See? This is great.
Local 420.
Year of the union. Yeah, Local 420. Yeah. South Dakota. Oh wait. No, South Dakota did bad stuff. It failed.
Yeah, it failed. It was another.
Well, this was another stupid one.
Another stupid.
Wow,
law.
60% no. Good. You're listening to us, obviously. And
so thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening. We love you. Get our merch, culinarywheatchannel.bigcartel.com, and listen to all of Idobi Radio. And know that safe access is important, and doing it the right way, making things right in the right way, makes things much easier in terms of weed. It's how the community is and grows.
You just, when you're trying to legalize cannabis, you can't keep the people that have been penalized and are incarcerated. And
it's literally insane.
While other people are out free making money from cannabis.
You know who said that?
Who said that?
Donald J. Trump.
What the fuck?
He literally said that. That's a quote. I know.
Did I just quote Donald Trump?
No, you quoted every fucking logical person who's ever talked about weed ever in the history of weed. So your boy hopping on here, not your boy, the proverbial boy. Sorry, I meant your boy New York, how we say that.
Yeah, I know.
Your boy jumping on, just wanted to be clear. Your boy jumping on the bandwagon right now it's not fucking impressive. We're not impressed. We're going to talk about that next. You don't impress me much, to quote goddess Shania Twain herself, who should be president, honestly. But that, no. It's not for the right reasons. And the cannabis community needs the right reasons. I can't tell you why. It's magical. Even if you come from a state that's never had weed before and you start to have weed in it, the legalization, the stigma dropping, the access that generations never had before, it starts to fucking get inspirational and shit. And yeah, you want to make money because there is money in making good cannabis happen. But you can't do that if you're coming from fucking real estate or politics or something, and you're let me just throw down my dick and a bunch of money and see how it goes. It's just not how it works in this industry. That's all I'm saying.
Bad people growing terrible product.
There's no integrity.
They're the ones that throw out their dick and throw out the money.
South Park is not exaggerating. It's funny because
real.
They're goofy. But that shit is literally what we think. That's why it's funny to us. Because integrity is it's true. And I don't mean that in a non-practical way. You don't it costs you nothing to let people out of jail who are wrongly put in there in the first place from something that shouldn't have been illegal in the first place. That is now legal. Can you imagine that family, that person, knowing there's people lighting up yards away? Well, they don't have rights? Come on. You cannot vote for things like that. You know this, and we were very proud of you. That's what's up.
That's it.
You did good in the United States with weed. With everything else, we'll have a discussion about that. Well, next we'll talk about what the federal level maybe means. It's hypothetical, but we'll pontificate. And spoiler alert, it's all going to sound really good. I don't know why I have feelings about this. And we have to talk it through because I'm having a bit of a breakdown. Twitter is a place that it might be made of battery acid and poops and farts. And I don't want to be there anymore, but I am still there at the moment. I don't know if we are.
I deleted mine.
Do what you want with Twitter. We don't like it.
I was over it.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. I'm still on it, and I don't really know why. So I'll probably not be on it for a while. But I'm still on Threads, and we're still on Instagram. We're on Threads. So whatever. Meta still has. I don't know how Mark Zuckerberg wrote it. So it's. Really what I'm going to do, and this is for realsies, I'm going to do a detox of the socials at some point soon. It's going to be soon because my brain is starting to seep out of my ears, and I need that thing in there.
I am going to take your advice to me was read a book. And
fuck yeah.
I pulled out some books and put them right next to my bed.
Read a book. You know what? It's a really good idea. Go to your library. Go to the library, take out a book. Go read some history books, please.
Support your local bookstore.
Support your local bookstore. Listen, I got a Kindle because I travel a lot and I like to fucking.
No, I.
But
understand.
I do. I have a hard copy of House of Leaves. I'm going to go back to House of Leaves. Ugh, if you know, you know. It's very stressful. But yes, support your local bookstore. Support books in general. Support hard copies of things. Please.
Oh my God.
We only have 20 minutes left of the show. Okay. So these are things of note that the Cool Nerd Weed Show would like to just drop out there, because we do have opinions. We do. You want from us. We feel things. So what does weed look like federally in the futures with this era of fucking Donald Trump? Now, last time, it's worth noting that he was surrounded by quote unquote, like there were politicians around him, and he had the good old fashioned prohibitionist. What was his fucking name?
Jeffrey Sessions.
Jeffrey Sessions, who was such a turd, but he hated weed for all your classic reasons, like just the OG, you know, the Pong of white supremacy and prohibition. And he was successful in not really moving any meter with the movement. In fact, in many places, scaled us back.
Yeah. He rescinded the Obama era amendments, memos that said back off.
Yeah. And he was like, no, it's still fucking the devil. So he did whatever. But we kind of managed to crawl our way through that bullshit and make it back here. And fast forward to 2024, and you have an amendment in Florida that the former president actually supports. So what it looks like to me, which I said, I don't mind saying I said something earlier, because like I'm wrong a lot, so I don't like to say things. Like I know I sound opinion on the show, but that's because like there's a dedicated hour that I'm allowed to speak a lot. But you know me, like I'll say something like kind of like, isn't that this? Like I get things mixed up in my head, but I had a gut feeling deep inside that Donald Trump was going to be the one to get the claim, even though this has been, the rescheduling has already been out there.
You did state that Donald Trump would push cannabis forward,
and by God,
and
he is.
We think he is, and this might be the only the only Biden administration platform and policy that would move forward in into the Trump administration.
Right. So let's
all of the work.
Oh yeah, let's be clear. This was all done by Democrats. I mean, again, it was bipartisan, but like Chuck Schumer had the Banking Act since, as far as I can remember, like scores of years ago. There was a lot of talk about it for so many years. So the groundwork was there, and then they did it like right before, they did it. They said, okay, like we're gonna reschedule it and put it on Schedule 3. So it's happening, and it was gonna happen. So it's not like he's doing it, but he was supporting an actual amendment in Florida, the state in which he dwells, and that is all signs point to him just like
not really. It's only about the profit.
Well, you mentioned this right before the break, and I would love to go back to it, because this is also like, we'll talk about, if we get to it, we might not, but RFK is also in the mix here because he's pro this. We might not get to a lot of RFK stuff, and honestly, that's okay. But I want you to repeat what you said right before we went to break about weed being rescheduled and what that means in terms of monies. Because I was like, an honest weed game is the way. You gotta do it that way. It's the only way it's gonna survive. And you were like, well, actually.
Well, okay. If cannabis is legal on a federal level, the amount of money that's going to come in is going to be way bigger. If you think that like the True Leave money in Florida is big,
right?
There's going to be like next level money will come in. and try to take over as much as possible.
So it'll be even worse.
Basically, it's probably going to be worse
in terms of corporate greed.
Corporate greed.
It just messes things up for the industry. It's like anything that you'd see that's overtaken by a corporation. It's not fun.
It's you know, the reasons like why Donald Trump supported Amendment 3 in Florida.
Right.
You know, it only benefited his corporate homies in Florida.
Right. Probably like donated a ton of money to him or something.
Yeah, and they're going to spend money at his fucking resort.
Yeah.
So, you know, none of those, it didn't pass, and it didn't pass because it was horrible.
Yeah. And it was the wrong way to go, and it benefited the 1%. It was the way to benefit the 1%, exactly. And that really at the heart of it, and I swear TS didn't plan this, but that really at the heart of it is a lot of what the problem is with the cannabis industry is it's inching towards being only for the 1%. That makes us sad because it so shouldn't be. And like, I know that that's like what kind of country we live in. But again, like I said, when it's not that, when it's social equity, when it's helping people, when it's being studied, and he's saying all the right things. Like he's literally saying nobody should be in jail, whatever. Even though, like, whatever, you know, he's called the cops on people smoking weed outside his broke ass places in New York. Like he is not genuine and a big old liar. So, will the future look weed friendly? I'm guessing yes. I am, and I have feelings about that because, yeah, I mean, love it, love the weed stuff. But wait a minute, you know, like there's something wrong about this.
There is, and you can't support initiatives that don't support criminal justice reform regarding cannabis ever.
Nobody benefits from that except for rich people.
Or social equity. Like you have to include it within the Fed. Like if it goes federally declassified, you need to let every single person out of prison, out of jail, out of everything. Just expunge all those records. And fuck, I don't think that's really going to happen.
No,
it's moving so slowly.
Yeah, it's
a lot of big talk.
It is, but you know, the more I read about like RFK Jr.'s involvement and stuff, like the less I'm like, I don't know that it's all around that he's like going to be in a position, but then somebody was like, no, he's not going to be in a position. And like, maybe he thinks he is, but I don't know that he is. But if he were to be, he is pro psychedelic, and I'm assuming cannabis. Does he like weed? Right?
Yeah, he's like a lot more freedoms of,
freedom. And he says
herbal remedies and alternative medicines.
Yes. But who knows who's going to be, where he's going to be and what he's going to be. So the future of weed in the country does look like it'll keep coming, you know, and maybe this is where we kind of like find a little glimmer, is that like there'll be some really cool ways to find out things about weed, and we'll be able to know more. And that's like good, you know, so
we would like studies need to be done if that's where we're going,
right?
If this actually goes through, is not just propaganda to get votes for Donald Trump.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll take our victory lap.
I guess we'll see how it all plays out, because like the Project 2025 of it all, there's nothing really specific about weed in it. It lists fentanyl, which RFK also talks about. Donald Trump, I don't think knows or cares. Like he literally is just like, yeah, whatever, fucking health, weed, women, you have at it. I don't think he cares or knows, honestly, about any of it, other than his own short-sighted racisms. I think he's just like, yeah, put RFK in charge of it. Okay, go.
He'll just be golfing on the taxpayers' dollars for the next 4 years while his resort makes more money.
The Final Puff with TS and Sasha.
Yeah, this is the final puff because this is fun. We're having fun.
We're having fun, aren't we?
We're having a good time. We're having a great time. So this story did kind of get buried by the election jazz, and everything happened in 1 week. Like, it was like Halloween, daylight savings time, and then the election. So in another timeline, Snoop Dogg was on Watch What Happens Live, and this is something that, like, I wish we all had. Because, like, obviously we are always going to have weed, and we're always going to smoke you out.
True.
Like, that's how we are.
It's just what we do.
It's literally what we do. And if we're caught with our pants down and we don't have any weed, it's a rough time. I feel in my head.
It's an embarrassment to our organization.
It sure is. And we don't stand for that. So you're going to get smoked out. Now, will we have the best shit? Obviously. So we'll be smoking hyphy weed, and like, you get your homie who's like, God, I only smoke 70% indicas, and is like sucking it down. And you and I, like, I'm the worst. Like, I am an enabler. I'm like, how about it? You know what I mean? Like, my goal is to share my weed with you and get you stoned. I would love to be the person who's like, okay, you are going to be really high, but I'm not. Like, sometimes I'll be like, whoa, that was like a big cough or a big like puff of smoke.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not a good like, when somebody tells me like, oh damn, you're going to be so high, or somebody tells me I look high or something, I get like, that totally takes me out of my head. So I don't like pointing it out for somebody else. So I would like a designated person to do this for me. Like Snoop Dogg has.
I would love to have this gig.
You want to be the person?
Yeah, if it ever becomes available, I could do. Okay, I don't want to take away jobs, but I could do the blunt rolling, and
you'd be good at that for sure.
I'll roll your blunts, and I'll tell people. I'll just tap them and tell them, maybe they should chill out.
I would listen to you. I wouldn't listen to me. I'd be like, okay. So I just feel like I can't do it. I just want to keep on keeping on, like. But I like that you, because you always know when the person is just about there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We do. We know, or for the most part, we know. But even we get too high from time to time, and we lose track of what we're doing.
I would like to try to go toe to toe with Snoop
I would
Dogg.
too. 100%. I would love
kind
it.
of like a challenge,
a manly challenge. Yeah,
friendly joust.
I would love. Now, it has to be noted, my lungs are small, so I cough a lot, but I can smoke. I am always the last one smoking. It's literally always. You and I are always the last one smoking.
Always, 100%.
We always say it. We're like, well, just us ducks or whatever. Like, we're just puffing till the end of the night.
But blunts. That's a
blunts. Well, he says he smokes like 81 blunts or something like that, like or 61, and he said that some celebrities are like featherweights, but honestly, blunts add a whole element.
For sure.
Oh, you didn't mention it was gonna be blunts.
Yeah, blunts.
I'll throw up.
81 blunts is a lot.
That's a lot of nicotine, Snoop.
What is it? What are you smoking? Like, it's got to be. Is
blunts
it backwoods? Is he rolling backwoods, or is he going hemp?
Maybe he gets like the best wrapping paper from like Cuba or something.
Imported?
Yeah, and it's like good for you. It's like that healing nicotine.
I got one of those rolled, like a straight Cuban blunt at a 710 party. Well,
weren't we both at one?
Oh yeah,
and we were like, we finally like worked up the courage to like go ask for one. I think you were at another one and you actually got one. But I was like, let's go ask. And she was like, all done. And we were like, awesome. But yeah, she was rolling like fat Cuban style blunts. They look cartoonishly good.
That was really quite delicious.
So Snoop Dogg, if you're hiring, TS.
Yeah, I'll send you my resume.
Yeah, he has some availability, not too much, but he can hang. And well, I'm good for the vibe, you know. Let's hang out. I'm really bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's not that I'm a bad like friend. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, because some people will you'll tap out and we'll just keep passing. And we're like, oh,
I
sorry.
do. You have told me so many times I'm good, and I've been like,
I remember like watching The Simpsons.
yeah.
I'm like, oh.
And you're like, I'm good, and I'm like just like lighting another one. You know, I've never claimed to not smoke a lot of weed. I would like to smoke. I would like to smoke weed with Snoop Dogg. We'll put that on our vision board for next year. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I hope it gave you some good and silliness and some information if you didn't has. And if you're in the states that are working towards progression with cannabis, then good. If you're in a state that has just become a little more unsafe for you, the Cool Nerd Weed Show is an ally, and you can always DM us. We're a safe space. That's just the end of the story. And even though we I just wanted to keep it like known tonight that like we will fight because that's what we do. We're here, but we also like can hold all these like emotions at once and talk about these local wins, but it doesn't take away from like the anger and the fight.
I will never be not angry. Don't panic.
It's organic.